Yo, what's up, everyone? So, I just wanted to say thank you so much for honestly everything so far. It's genuinely amazing to see like the movie style content that I'm making pop off. Even though it's just one video, this has like genuinely been my dream to make movie style content for, I mean, the longest time. So, being able to actually do that and you guys actually like enjoy it is it's just an amazing feeling. But currently, right now, I'm still working on movie 2. It's gonna take me quite a bit of time just because I really want to make it good and make it twice as good as my last video, if not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times better. I want it to look amazing. But yeah, anyway, though, we have a long-term viewer. His name is Kano. He's absolutely awesome, and he's currently a diamond for Reaper. I just so happen to be going crazy on Reaper this season, so honestly, perfect timing. But yeah, he left a comment that I thought was pretty important and I wanted to add into the video, and that was that he had a good game on Rialto and did the usual setup before the fight, pressure the backline during the fight, fade out if things go bad, but unfortunately we tended to die before the fight even began, and thus this game was harder than it needed to be. Thus, I got to live in Zen's head rent free. Anyway, enjoy. All right, we have a diamond for Reaper. Now, we're going to do a little bit of coaching in between my movie style content as well as like my new style content that I'm going to be doing. I want to do a lot more, but I'm currently working on my next video right now. I'm trying to put a lot of time into it, make it look really, really nice. So it's going to take a while. So while it's going to take a while, I might open up a second channel just posting variety if you guys want to watch that. Or I might just keep uploading like a little bit of Overwatch content, just not like highly, like extremely high tier. But I'm going to obviously work on it and make it better. Just letting you guys know. But right now, we're just going to do a coaching video. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, so starting off, before we actually even get into this, let's talk about what makes a good Reaper. So personally, how I find the highest success with Reaper is TPing, trying to find an off angle, looking for a kill, adding distraction, adding pressure, making the enemy team use a lot of cooldowns, or either getting picks and then just raiding back out to your team or to anywhere that's safe, preferably your team, because that's probably the most safe spot. Because if you're like get a wraith to like a med kit or something like that, there's still a good chance that you're going to be trapped with no cooldowns. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, you just rinse and repeat that and constantly look for value on top of that, and you should have a pretty good winning formula. And the more and more you play, the more and more you'll know like the fights that you can take. It does look like this is going to be kind of a tough game because you do have a hog that can hook you. You have a Mei that can wall you off and slow you. You have a Zen that can clip you in the head and do a lot of damage. You have a Kiri that can cleanse and save somebody's life, as well as you have a Cass who can hinder you. So yeah, this is a pretty tough team. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, we'll speed up right here and we'll see what happens. And not really too much to say right now. Your Tracer just got absolutely deleted. So a lot of stalling right here. Kind of just a lot of waiting, a lot of stalling, not really looking for any value. Didn't really shoot at all or anything like that. You have the lowest besides for your Winston and the enemy hog, which I don't even know how it's possible for the enemy hog to have 3%, but welcome to Overwatch. I'm gonna watch you TP right here. I'm not the biggest fan of the TP right here, unless you're gonna kind of just look for value right here. I did put the enemy team back when you did TP, so it's not like it's not crazy bad. I like the idea. You had the idea right there, but you didn't really gain a whole lot of value besides for like a little bit of distraction. Your TP up there did add value because the enemy team kind of freaked out, but once the enemy team kind of freaked out knowing that you TP'd up there, they kind of knew that you were going to come down right around here. I think actually the Mei knew from the start on the TP, so let's take a look at that real quick. Yeah, I could see her through the wall. I had a feeling. Yeah, she was already looking for you. She saw the TP. And then on top of that, your footsteps make quite a big noise, or quite a big amount of noise. So you clomping down these steps right here, the Mei 100% knew they were coming down this way and is able to predict. Almost walled you off too and got you killed, but thankfully Hog missed his hook because, I don't know, he missed his hook. It happens. But yeah, overall, probably just like hold this angle right here. Maybe look for a little bit of damage. Maybe even take like a little bit of an off angle right here. Look to add some like value right here. Add distraction. Maybe get the Zen to look at you. Maybe get the Curie to look at you. You can even kind of maybe rotate right over here. Add a lot more pressure. Just keep adding pressure. Keep adding pressure. Then maybe when you see like the enemy team stops trying to like kind of pay attention to you, you can TP in. Maybe get a kill on the Zen real quick. Try to even maybe kill the Curie, but the Curie's going to be kind of tough to kill because she has cleanse. But you might be able to catch the Zen off guard before the Curie can cleanse. And then on top of that, after that, you might be able to even go for the Cassidy. Okay, not bad, not bad. I like the rotate. All right, Monkey gets destroyed. You take an off angle, wait for your team to reset. I guess you can do that. The only worrisome thing about that is that the Cassidy is dead, so be careful kind of just walking across here. You got to be aware that the Cassidy is going to be respawning by the time your team probably makes it back, so just pay attention to that. Okay, where's the Cassidy at? All right, he's pretty far off. I really like this TP though. I really do like this TP. All right, you tried, you forced out cleanse, not bad. All right. I don't really know if this was a necessary TP. Let's go back and actually take a look at that real quick. So you grab the heals right there. And you TP'd right there. Yeah, I guess just reset. Get set up. Not a bad TP. Just look for any extra damage. Okay. Dude, this hog thinks he is the sneakiest guy ever, man. Oh, nice. Nice TP. Nice TP. That might actually... I was going to say that might actually negatively affect their team because the hog went on a complete off angle that allows your team to kind of push up and get kills, but... Unfortunately, Cat Jam died again, so... Kind of just try to look for value, try to look for a pick, try to look for kills. Nice. I don't hate that at all. That's actually pretty good. Nice. Beautiful. So, ice block. Instantly, the second the ice block is done, you gotta instantly hard focus that Mei right there. Nice. She should die here. Maybe not. CTP. Nice. Nice kill. Nice finish. Could have killed him a little bit faster, and that might have been able to save your Zen's life if you would have killed him faster, because you probably would have been in the team fight right over in this area. Also, it could be a good idea to maybe TP up on the high ground right here. Try to drop down on the Zen. You know the Zen didn't use his ult, so you know he probably has his ult here. Because, I mean, everybody has gotten their ult by now. So, You drop down, you try to kill the Zen super fast on that TP up on the high ground right there. He might not be able to get it off, and you'll be able to secure a fight 1. Okay. Nice kill, nice kill. I mean, I see it doesn't really matter anyway, so nice work, nice work. A little bit of kind of just like stalling right there. What I probably would have done is TP up on the high ground right here, kind of look around, look for any extra value. You might have been able to help kill the Mei right there. But yeah, I would have TP'd up on this high ground right here and maybe just try to look for any extra value, get any extra damage out, add a little bit of a distraction value. Take a little bit of that off angle. Unfortunately, though, since you took a little bit too long, your D.Va got demeched. Now, if you would have entered there a little bit faster, would your D.Va have been demeched anyways? More than likely, but there's a chance that you might have been able to stop it. That's alright, though. Nice. I like the off angle. I like the kill. When you take off angles, you get the kills. And then you can just reapproach right here. One of these sports right here these are some juicy, juicy kills. I'd go for that Zen any day of the week. And then if you get low, I just rate that. Okay. Not necessarily the greatest target right there. Once again, the carry used cleanse. That's a little bit of like a struggle thing that you got to pay attention to for the supports. Is you got to be aware that the carry, there is a good chance that she's probably going to cleanse, especially in this rank. She's going to cleanse one of your shots, and it could guarantee you to not kill somebody. So just be aware of that. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be able to stop it. You forced out carry cleanse too. That's huge. So you still get value off from forcing out your carry cleanse. I just wanted you to be aware, like, carry's going to cleanse that quite a bit. So just be aware of that. Okay. TP. You had your Wraith right there. Definitely could have been able to Wraith out. Spam, I need healing. You got both your supports right here. And then maybe just add pressure on the tank. Maybe try to force out her bubbles early so she gets no value out of her bubbles. And you might even be able to kill her because her supports are so far away. And the only one that would really be able to protect her is the Mei, being able to wall off. But other than that, yeah, Wraithing out, being able to get heals right here, and then adding pressure right there, you might be able to single-handedly win the fight off from adding a lot of pressure to that tank, being able to kill the tank, or even forcing the supports up so your enemy Ana or your Kiriko can maybe get a headshot. But I think your Kiriko's kind of heal botting, so I don't know for a fact if she's going to be looking for that damage. But your Ana, I think, is definitely looking for damage. So we'll speed up right here. Oof. Nothing you can do about that. Right here, when both your DPS and your healer were both low right there, you could have honestly kind of just played a little bit aggressive right here and tried to kite some of that damage towards you instead of towards your enemy team. Or not your enemy team, your teammates, because that might be able to allow your teammates to back out and get out better. So you'll be able to add a little bit of that pressure on. That's something that I also do quite a bit with Reaper as well, is let's say, for example, my tank's taking like a lot of pressure. All I'll simply do is, let's say, for example, the tank's right here. Let's say your tank is the Cassidy. And let's say the whole entire enemy team's right here. And let's say you're just standing right next to the tank. the majority of the people, especially in this rank, are going to 100% target the tank. And even in the highest rank, they're probably going to still target the tank because they know that you have Wraith form. But if you start walking up slightly, adding a little bit of pressure, adding a little bit of damage on here, they're going to have to look at you. So when they have to look at you in this situation right here, that relieves pressure on your tank, and you'll be able to add a lot of value, and you'll be able to save your tank's life. I've done that countless times, and it works significantly well. All you do is you simply just sit by your tank, or if you are simply sitting by your tank and you notice that your tank's taking a lot of hits, a lot of damage, and a lot of cooldowns and everything like that, they're just taking everything, absorbing all the damage, you can simply just walk off to the side, add a lot of damage right here, add a lot of pressure, add a off angle, an easy simple off angle, and you can save your tank's life, and you can wraith out. By the time you wraith out, you should be able to save your tank's life, unless your tank keeps pushing and dies. But that's something that might be coming in handy quite a bit, especially when it comes to getting like through diamond. I know for a fact myself, I've used that countless times, and it really has helped me rank up. Okay. Yeah, that was smart. That was smart not engaging on that. It might have, if you might have maybe tried to peek a little bit more, one more shot off, but that's risking it, so I don't blame you for backing up. Right there. It's better to save your life than get the pick. Okay. Zen alts. You TP. I guess that's not the worst TP. I like the idea. I like the idea of like trying to get the off angle. Personally, I probably TP right here instead, but TPing right here too works because you also have the mega. But you TP right here. You can look for a little bit of damage right here, look for a little bit of damage right here, try to force out some cooldowns. The whole enemy team's looking at you, so regardless, this TP 100% got value because your whole team should be able to kind of steamroll them right here because they're so focused on you now. So regardless, it gave you value. A little bit too far of a TP. I would have preferred probably a little bit of a closer TP so you can look for a little bit more extra damage and add a lot more pressure and see if you can possibly get a pick off that. But more than likely, regardless, no matter the TP, you're not going to get the pick. But yeah, good TP regardless because they all looked at you. But unfortunately, you kind of just sat here and hid. And since you sat here and hid, they all just kind of, two of them gave up on you. But I mean, you could use that as a benefit as well. Yeah, you could use that as a benefit as well. That could be actually a good thing. Thankfully, Zen way overextended, so he's free kill. Nice. Okay. At that moment right there, you could target the tank and get the tank killed right there. Killing both the support and the DPS right here as well, that works. It allows your team to solo off the Zarya, but okay, good. You only took one casualty to that. Now, let's talk about the ult. Was that a good ult? It got 2 picks, and you stayed alive on top of that. But, for example, actually, let me retake. I'm rusty on coaching, okay? I haven't coached in like 5 months. It's been a minute. I'm trying my best. Okay, so targeting the Zarya right there could have been the right choice, and then you finish off the Cassidy in the Kiriko. But finishing off the Cassidy and Kiriko and targeting them as well, that's not a wrong choice either. So, was that ult good? It could be a good ult, but the only scary thing about using that ult right there is that your entire team also ulted. So, what ult do you have left for this next fight? The answer is you don't have an ult. And once you get into like that Masters rank, they're 100% going to contest this. And when they contest this, there's a good chance that you're going to lose the fight. So maybe holding on to your ult there and just trusting your aim and being able to get the 2 picks right there. You target that Cassidy first, kill the Cassidy, target the Curie, kill the Curie. I like to target the Cassidy though, just making sure he can't really hinder you after you kill the Curie, because if you kill the Curie first and the Cassidy hinders you, I don't think you can pull out of your Wraith form. So you're kind of just stuck there taking the 1v1 and then you could die. So that's the reason why I'm saying preferably, probably, it might be best target the Cassidy. But yeah. But unfortunately, you guys don't have any ults for the fight. But fortunately, the enemy team used all their ults as well. So it doesn't negatively affect, but I'm assuming you probably weren't really ult tracking that. If you were, that's really good and that's really smart. But if you weren't ult tracking that, and if you didn't know for a fact like what characters might on the enemy team might have ult, then if you weren't taking that in consideration, then that could be a high risk, low reward type thing. Because for example, let's say if the Cassidy had his ult and the Zen had his ult and you used your ult right there, you're guaranteed to lose this next fight. But if maybe after Zen ult you get a pick, you take one shot at like the Cassidy, kill the Cassidy, kill the Zen after his ult, BAP uses him more, forces out him more, you kill the BAP if the BAP's overextended with your ult, and that's a crazy good ult. Okay, I see they didn't even want to touch, but a part of me feels like there is actually a pretty good chance that you might have actually lost this fight if that Zarya would have actually touched. But with your ult, you might have been able to add that extra factor on guaranteeing the win. Yeah, you definitely would have lost after your carry died right there. So, but overall, so basically what I'm kind of trying to get at is this ult right over here was kind of, you kind of ulted when you already won the fight. You gotta be aware of that. I like the TP. I like it. I like it. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. Perfect off angle. Perfect off angle. Perfect flank. Perfect kills. That's exactly. If you can do that every single time, which sometimes, like, the more the higher the rank that you climb, the less of the opportunity that you're going to be able to do that. But that just means that you have to get, like, a little bit more smart about it and try to find, like, more openings that are going to catch them off guard. But the mindset that you should always have going into this game is when you have your TP, you gotta, first off, you gotta like either have 1 second or 2 seconds of cooldown on Wraith before you TP, because you always have to have your Wraith to get out. And then you should never TP when you don't have your Wraith unless like your cooldowns almost get, so like right here would probably be a good time to use your TP. But not like in this exact situation, just hypothetically if you're looking for a TP inwards. Beautiful. We're gonna speed up right here. Okay. Nice. TP out. Kind of looked a little confused, a little scared right there when you're playing in here. But it's alright. Oh, rip monkey. Nice. Play corner a bubble. Get out when things get dangerous. You repeat that over and over and over again when your tank's alive, you're going to gain a lot of value and you're guaranteed to win. You just need to look for a lot of value in between as well. Nice. Beautiful. I don't know if I like that TP out. You do have a Ana right here, so you could even make a play and maybe even get a kill right here. But TPing out, playing safe. I don't blame you because you dying right there could just stagger your team, so I don't hate it. Nice. Nice, beautiful. Okay, so instead of kind of sitting here and not really doing a whole lot, instantly, my insta Q the second I get those picks would be instantly walk over to these doors, maybe even just hide right here for a second and wait for one of them to walk out and look for a kill. Look to add as much damage as possible, because by the time they finally touched point, guess what happened? Your tank died, and on top of that, you didn't shoot them the whole entire time that they got to point, so they're both going to be full health unless the Ana's done damage. Yeah, they're both going to be full health. Not a terrible ult. Unfortunately, though, you did die. I like the idea of the ult. Getting the tank out of there really does help. So, not bad. Not a bad ult. Even though it cost you your life, the trade was good. Almost actually lost that fight to the Zen. Zen was popping. All right, let's speed up right here. Okay. Keep speeding. Slow down right here. Actually, let's speed up a little bit more. Okay. Bastion's going to be looking for a lot of value. What you can do for Bastion right here is when he's in his turret form, you should purposefully be looking for like an off angle to add extra pressure. Because a lot of times, especially in this rank, you can take advantage of this massively. But the second your Bastion uses his turret form, you can almost predict everywhere the enemy team's going to go. For example, they're all going to be out of LOS, so that's when you could add pressure, maybe look for damage right here, and guess what happens? They're going to freak out, and then maybe even one of them will go back into LOS of the Bastion, and then the Bastion gets free picks. So it's kind of like a duo that you can do with the Bastion right here. Bastion goes into the turret form, he peeks, you take an off angle, you look for that extra damage while the Bastion is looking for that, makes the enemy team just start to freak out. So keep in mind of that. Also, I don't know if my mic is sounded bad at all, but if it has, sorry about that. I'm still working on like finding a place that I can place my mic, because like the second I set down my controller or move my hand or anything like that, and especially when I'm doing coaching videos, I move my hands a lot when I'm trying to explain. So my mic might ping or make a ding noise. Okay. Look for that damage. Honestly, I probably would try to take the 1v1 right here. Nice. Or the 1v2 right here. You had pressure right here, like a lot of pressure right here. Your Sigma's gonna smoke them, and the only the only person that you have to try to target you and kill you is the Mei. And if the Mei just looks at you, guess what's gonna happen? You got a Sigma, Bastion, and 2 supports that are able to help you out. So you can take that fight against that Zen right there, and then you might have even been able to kill the Cassidy when he was walking right through there as well. See, for example, right there, Mei couldn't do anything, even if she tried to kill you. We're going to speed up right here. Oh, wait. My bad. I like the TP. A little bit too long of a rotate, though, in it kind of got your tank killed. But I do like the idea that you had right there. If you can somehow figure out how to get behind there and minimize that, that'll be good. But once again, though, I don't hate it. I don't hate that TP, because you still got 2 kills. Yep. Good. Honestly, you probably could have even just sat right here a little bit, walked back a little bit, look for any extra value. You could have even barrel stuffed that Zarya right there and got that Zarya killed, and then turned around and tried to kill like maybe the Mei or the Moira. I think you might have faded out a little bit too early. Nice pick. Unfortunately, though, the Zarya got 45 charge off that, so not a bad TP. Not a bad TP at all. I like that TP. Set yourself up on an aggressive off angle. It's not bad. Okay. Nice. Ooh. A little bit of a mechanical issue, as well as you did just fade out. So even though you did get nano, you want to kind of maybe play a little bit on the corner, play a little bit more safe. You kind of sat out in the middle of the open right there. The whole enemy team was looking at you, and what happens when the whole enemy team looks at you? Well, this is kind of what happens. So maybe try to play a little bit more natural cover right there until you have your Wraith form, so you can guarantee you can go in. You could play a little bit more aggressive with that, but once again, just using natural cover kind of works a little bit better as well. We're gonna slow down right here. Not really a whole lot to talk about right now. Not really a whole lot going on. Maybe you could have possibly tried to like maybe sit up here, add a little bit of distraction so your team can kind of walk back a little bit. I like the control on the high ground right here. Because for example, let's say if somebody goes right through here, probably if the Mei goes through here, I wouldn't really try to target the Mei. I'd probably see if maybe I could get a pick on one of these two if they go through here. But taking this high ground right here definitely adds a lot of pressure. You could even walk right over here, start shooting at the Czar, because you shoot at the Czar from this high ground, the Czar's going to freak out, and she's probably going to try to rotate back that way or rotate through here. So you can clear out this area right here, relieve some pressure on your team, and allow your team to kind of look over here and get more of a position and more of a upper hand on the enemy team. A little bit of an early fade, might have been able to get like 1 or 2 more shots off, but it's not bad. I do like that you're controlling the high ground. Unfortunately though, that early fade kind of was a little too early, as well as the drop down right there to the fade away. I don't really like the drop down right there just to shoot the tank. Didn't really gain a lot of value or distraction off from it. In whatever distraction that you did cause, took you out of the fight for as long as your Wraith was gone. So didn't really affect you good right here. Your tank was in the fight by himself, so you probably could have definitely been able to drop down, maybe help out a little bit right here, maybe look for any extra damage, maybe even, I think you're on cooldown on your TP. Yeah, since the tank's right there, the whole enemy team's gonna look right there, so you could even you could drop down here, but actually I'm not gonna say that's a good idea because you don't have any way to get out. But maybe just even shoot them from up here, look for any value, look for any distraction or anything like that, so your tank can engage a little bit easier. Now it's a good time to drop. A little bit of a pointless ult right there though. Not the biggest fan of that ult. You did get a kill with it, but with that same amount of time, you probably could have easily killed him just with your shotguns and then just faded back to cart right here. It's going to be a tough hold because you're going to obviously have that Zarya and the Moira chasing you while you're holding back on this cart right here. So you just struggle on this cart, or you could even just hold onto the cart, wait for your Juno to heal you while you TP up onto the high ground. And then just wait for your cooldowns to reset, maybe just add a little bit of extra damage or a little bit extra value. We're gonna speed up right here. Okay. You heard the Cassidy go under here. This is exactly the perfect representation of like what I was talking about earlier. You drop down, you're killing that Cassidy 99 out of 100 times. You get that kill on him, you drop behind, you add pressure on that Zen, and guess what happens? You're making this a 3v4. You kill that Zen, you're probably actually going to make it a 1 or 2v4 because the Mei will probably be focusing you hard as well. Then you can, yeah, then you just TP up on the high ground. You wouldn't really be able to fade out. There's a chance that you might die, but yeah. Weird encounter. Okay, once again, you got to kind of look at the stalling. You've done a little bit of stalling throughout this game, and it does cost the team fight sometimes. I have noticed that. So right now, for example, you're kind of just sitting here, you're full health. By the time you're just sitting here, not really able to gain a whole lot of value. Your Ashe was targeted by the Cassidy, and the Cassidy's pretty good aim, so he killed your Ashe, unfortunately. But if you might have been able to drop, maybe see if you can look for any extra damage, look for any kills right there. Might have been able to change that fight. Okay. Your best bet right there, especially with the Cassidy ulting, and you heard him just ult right here, you could just drop on his head, drop him twice. Shoot him twice, drop him insta. Maybe try to force out ice block on her, maybe try to get a pick right here. But regardless, I think the team fight's lost no matter what. A little bit too much stalling on here early, way too early on. In result, unfortunately, you lost the team fight. And you didn't really add a whole lot of value into it. But once again, though, nothing you can't really, like, or nothing that you can't fix. You gotta look for the value. Value, value, value. Every single time you play this game, you should instantly, always, like, reset, make it click in your head every 5 seconds. What do I need to be doing to look for any damage? Reset, no, let it click in your head every second. Look for that damage, look for that damage, look for that damage, look for value, look for value. Throughout the whole game, you want to have that mindset. You have that mindset, I guarantee you, you will rank up. You'll rank up. Especially if you're in the middle ranks, you will 100% rank up. As weird enough as that is, I think you actually... No, like, I don't even think... I know by you TPing right here, which wasn't really the greatest off angle, but you TPing right here single-handedly killed all of them because they all focused you because they're so scared of you. And it allowed your tank to go in and just drop 2. Carry use cleanse on your tank, and yeah. Go on, Kato. Come on. No. Unfortunate. In that situation right there, if you're kind of missing your shots, just reset your brain real quick. If you understand what I'm talking about, just like reset your mind, reset your brain, and refocus on tank right there, and you'll connect a lot more of your shots. Like, make sure you connect that first shot, and then after that you'll connect all those other shots. Okay. Not bad. Good one team fight. You're gonna have Emery as well as your ult come up. Not necessarily the best, I want to say, off angle that you're taking right here. And the reason why I say that is because, I mean, even if somebody walks right here, they have plenty of time to react to you walking up on them. As well as, I mean, if they're coming through main right here, they're going to see you if you come walking up here. You could honestly hold right here. You could look for damage right here, look for any extra like shots or anything like that. Add some pressure, maybe try to force out like, you know, Zen ult or something like that, or a Moira ult. You force one of those two out, you might be able to win this fight. But sitting back here, if you do sit a little bit too far back here, you might not be able to win that. Okay. Yeah, you see once again right here. Unfortunately, you made it kind of like a 4v5, so their enemy team walked in, especially when they have ults. You can't let that happen. You can't let a 4v5 happen. Alright, looks like the enemy team capped that. We'll speed up a little bit right here. Speed up once again. Okay. Not a bad TP. I like the sim pick because you're able to use that TP as well as using your own TP on top of that, because I mean that could definitely set you up pretty good. You could take advantage of that. Okay. Not the biggest fan of you kind of just shooting right there. Maybe look. Honestly, yeah, just shooting right there. Shooting right there could be fine with where you're positioned at right now, just because you can add a little bit of distraction for the supports and maybe help your team get a pick right here. But if you're gonna sit up here, I guess that's really the most that you can do. Maybe look for a TP once the enemy team's not really paying attention to you. Beautiful TP by your Kiri. I like the TP to finish. Unfortunately, though, the second you get that TP, you got hit by a Zen Orb, so that should have been your insta-Q to Wraith back out. That's exactly what you want to do, though. You want to TP into a good off-angle spot, get that pick right there, look for any extra damage, see if you can get any more like extra kills, and then just fed Wraith out. I'm gonna speed up right here. Okay, not bad. Alright, you did hear the Zen behind you right there, so you should know that the Zen's kind of taking off and right there. Free kill for you. Knock that monkey off the high ground. That's huge. You don't want that monkey having the high ground because he can drop down right here, and then when things get tough, he just jumps out. Okay. Speed up right here. Alright. I was a little, I think you were a little bit, like, nervous and a little bit scared to fight that. Kind of freaked out a little bit. That's alright, though. That's not a bad cap. That's honestly not a bad cap for a minute. Okay. Let's speed up right here. Put on right here. Honestly, I like that. I believe it or not, that's a good distraction right there. Both of these guys looked at you. Both of these guys looked at you and got scared. Perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful. The distraction on the Zen right there got the tank killed. And on top of that, the Moira even looked at you too. Honestly, their comp that they're running right now, you should be having a field day for heals because they're not really going to be able to out heal anything now. So take full advantage of that. Good TP to kill. Take an off angle. Surprise enemy team. I think I'm using the word off angle a little bit too loosely right there, but you get what I'm saying. Nice. Just fade out. Okay. After that second engagement right there, probably should just focus on that. You see him wraith out, so this should be your opportunity to look for a chance to engage and see if you can get a pick. Unfortunately, though, you did die right there, but that's okay. I don't think you're really expecting the Reaper to be there. Okay. Speed up right here. Nice. Beautiful. Nice. Perfect. Okay. So overall, let's kind of talk about everything that you need to work on. So I think you need to let me think. So the stalling is definitely one thing. I've noticed that a lot of times you kind of stall when instead of stalling, you could just constantly be shooting, constantly looking for value, shoot with your team, shoot on a little bit of an off angle, distract them, gain that value, relieve that pressure off from your team, do as much as you can on that. A lot of times you kind of sometimes you kind of just sat back and kind of just let the enemy team walk up on your team like that. And if you can minimize that or completely delete the amount of times you have the enemy team walking up on your team while you sit there trying to look for a flank, if you can minimize that to like 0, I guarantee you you're gonna rank up. You're gonna rank up like crazy. You minimize that, you keep taking TPs. For example, let's say the enemy team's pushing right here, you TP like right over here, the enemy team doesn't see you TP, you drop down, you get 2 picks, you get a kill. You get a kill, maybe get 2 kills even, and you fade out. You wraith out, and you just rinse and repeat that over and over again. And while doing that, you look for damage. You look, maybe like, let's say for example your team's right here and no one on your team is over here, you walk off on this off angle right here, you keep looking for damage right here, especially, but you definitely need your wraith for when you do rotate over here. But you walk through right here, you look for any extra damage right here, you add extra damage right here, maybe TP out so you don't have to use a wraith, or maybe just wraith out. Either or works, and you just gotta constantly look for that. You gotta constantly look for that value. A billion percent, you need to look for that value right there, and you gotta constantly be helping out your team too. Your team definitely struggled, but the majority of the times why they kind of got steamrolled was usually when you're trying to look for an off angle and you weren't really getting value out of that off angle. Just constantly, like, even if you want to keep looking at your replays and everything like that, you look back at your replay and just see like how your team died and where were you when your team died. If you play Reaper and you can figure that out and then realize, oh hey, I can minimize that by doing this instead, or by staying with my team instead even, then you can guarantee the win. You can guarantee like a lot more wins on Reaper. Reaper's pretty simple to play, I'm not gonna lie. His kit is very simple to play, but you get punished by not really adding that consistent value and not really getting those picks. You can get punished heavily for it, but you play disciplined, you play correct, and you keep adding that pressure on. I guarantee you the enemy team's gonna struggle, they're gonna freak out, they're gonna get mad at each other, they're gonna say support diff, they're gonna say DPS diff, they're gonna say tank diff, they're gonna be screaming at each other in voice chat, and that's all because you're constantly adding pressure and you're relieving pressure from your team. You focus on that, you gain that value, and I guarantee you're gonna rank up. This is my first coaching video in like 5 months, almost half a year. So I know it's probably a little sloppy. I know I caught myself a few times like explaining the situation that I'm like, wait, maybe it wasn't the worst thing. At least I'm catching myself on it, you know. It took me quite a bit my first time when I first started coaching to fix that, but I'll definitely fix it sooner or later. It just takes a lot more time and a lot more coaching to be like a little bit more aware on those situations and everything like that, which just takes like a lot of like, it just takes a little bit of time, and I should be good after that. So if you guys liked this video, feel free to like and subscribe, join the Discord if you want coaching yourself. And yeah, anyway though, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Can't wait for movie 2 on this. It's gonna look amazing. I have so many good ideas for it, and I'm genuinely like super excited to continue making it. But yeah, anyway though, hope you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.